my dearest Rotaractors who are very close to our hearts, the Rotaract Club of Makati, and all dignitaries and friends listening to this podcast, a pleasant day to each and every one of you. It is my pure and distinct honor to impart with you all my simple understanding of the very last habit of Stephen Covey's book, which is, in my opinion, one of the most profound self-help books ever created. I personally have made this one of my guiding books in my younger years, and indeed it has done me a great deal of help. So, let's get right to it. Greatness always has to start from the inside out. You cannot fake character ethic. Picture an iceberg. The personality ethic is above the water. The character ethic is below the water and forms the whole foundation. But there are no shortcuts or quick fix programs for a sturdy foundation. Now, the first three habits: be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and put first things first, are about moving you from being dependent to independent. They are about self-mastery. They help you become a more effective individual. Now, habits 4 to 6 help you deal with people. Let's go to habit 7, dear friends. Sharpen the saw. So, what does that mean? Let's say you see a guy trying to cut a tree with a dull saw, and you say, "Hey, why don't you sharpen this thing? Why don't you sharpen the saw?" Then the guy responds and says, "I don't have time to sharpen the saw because I have to cut this tree down now." Okay, now what do? What we do is we explain to the poor man sawing the tree that, hey, if you spend 30 minutes to 1 hour sharpening the saw, it would only take you about 3 hours to cut down the tree. This means that you don't have time not to sharpen the saw. This example holds so true within most of our lives on many different facets. We are the instruments, and we regularly have to sharpen 4 areas. The first area that we have to sharpen and pay very close attention to is physical. It's a choice of either doing it now or waiting 20 to 30 years later when sicknesses already are showing up in your body and there's little that you can do about it. The good thing about this age of the millennials is the fact that you have easy and unrestricted access to just about anything. Now, including health and fitness tips, of course. And they are just one touch of a button away in your very own cell phone. So now, it's never an excuse to not be healthy. The second area is spiritual. We ask ourselves, we contemplate on who we are where we are heading, doing meditation, prayer, and whatever basically works for us. While it is good to have religion, some could argue that it's not for them. But most certainly, spirituality is a different thing, in the sense that we don't need to put labels on the things we do to ourselves for our own enrichment, and mostly having a clear mind helps us make more sound decisions on the short and long term. That is the importance of the spiritual side. The third one is cognitive health. Continuing to learn, to explore, expanding, and educating oneself. Immerse yourself in other cultures, disciplines, languages, and basically any form of new knowledge that will widen your horizon and appreciation of life. As our favorite Leonardo da Vinci famously said, "Learning never exhausts the mind." Please consider keeping that to heart, dear Rotaractors. Once again, learning never exhausts the mind. The fourth and final one is social health. This is our relationships, living interdependently, treasuring your moments with family, friends, loved ones, and other people you hold dear to your heart. This aspect of your life that you need to sharpen, like the saw, might seem very straightforward and self explanatory, but you might be surprised because we do find out in a lot of cases that trying to sharpen one's social health might not seem to be at the very top of some people's priority list. Of course, we cannot fault someone for prioritizing his career over his family and friends, especially if you're just like starting out with your life, trying to get to the good side of your boss, trying to meet work deadline after work deadline, trying to basically earn a living and becoming successful the most conventional way you can think of. But as we grow up, get more advanced in years, we actually realize that most of the things that we have learned in the 7 habits to better ourselves are actually very crucial for addressing this fourth category, which is our social health. In my opinion, it would be so delightful and inspiring to know that the success that we chased was ultimately for our family, friends, and loved ones, di ba? So, with these 4 areas, always think continuous improvement for the physical, spiritual, cognitive health, and social health. The best way of unleashing our fullest potential is by investing on these 4 aspects, or as the book says, sharpen the saw. If you sharpen the saw, I believe you also renew and improve on the 6 other habits as well. This 7th habit keeps you fresh, sharp, and able to handle the 6 other habits. Remember in my introduction, if you did sharpen the saw, you can cut the tree just in 3 hours compared to maybe 6 to 10 hours by using a dull saw. So it does make sense. So in ending, I would just like to offer that living and applying the 7th habit is really beneficial for someone who strives to have a more holistic life, but with lots of purpose and accuracy in the things we want to improve on. Very lastly, dear friends, my parting gift to all of you is a Japanese word that I have learned early in life. Kaizen. That is Kaizen. Kaizen. Simply put, Kaizen means change for the better or continuous improvement. You can Google it on your own free time, but I just want to share how profound this word is and that it's almost similar to the 7th habit, which is sharpening the saw. Dearest Rotaractors, most of you are just beginning in your respective careers, and it's just so amazing and nostalgic to me how I started mine with exactly these same guiding principles. It's a lifelong process that requires patience, but I assure you that if you stick to these habits and really put them to heart, you'll definitely go places. So my prayers, best wishes, and grandest intentions for all your collective and individual successes that I'm sure you will achieve in God's time. With that, this has been Past President David Ackerman, thanking you all and wishing everyone a blessed and productive day. Ingat!